Meditation is a skill, and when we know how to practice it, it has the side benefits of deepening our connection to whatever spiritual tradition that we resonate with. It helps to harmonize our thoughts, our emotions, bring us greater peace and clarity, and it can even help to heal the body. Like any skill set, meditation does need attention and dedication, as well as proper technique for it to give the results that are intended. And the key with meditation is being attentive to the practice, doing it on a daily basis, while also practicing in the right way. And no matter what technique you practice, there is an underlying principle that unites them. And this is the practice of learning to concentrate and focus our attention on our chosen ideal or object of meditation, while remaining awake and alert, yet in a relaxed state. And whether we use mantra practice, pranayama, breath awareness, or even contemplation or prayer, there has to be the element of focused concentration, disregarding distractions. And we have to be awake and alert while we practice. And the reason I bring this up is because often people say they're practicing meditation. They're chanting a mantra internally. They're sitting there quietly, poised, upright. But their mind is focused on thoughts from the past, thinking about concerns for the future, daydreaming, or even nodding off into a semi-conscious dream state. And when you're practicing in that way, you're not doing it in a way that will make you skillful and allow the practice to give its best rewards. We are letting go of attention and attachment to externals. And externals are distracting thoughts, feelings, bodily concerns, people, whatever it might be, anything in the external world which can fragment your awareness. We're letting go of that. So we pick a place where we can be quiet, where we can sit upright, and the sitting posture is important in regards to having your spine, neck, and head in alignment, upright and straight. Whatever you're doing with your legs, whether you're sitting cross-legged or on your knees or sitting in a chair, that doesn't matter. The key is that you are sitting upright. And we don't want to meditate lying down because most people are sleep deprived anyway, so lying down will encourage falling asleep. Now, once we've found a space where we can sit quietly, sitting upright, we need a technique. And you only need one or two techniques. These can be mantra, breath awareness, pranayama, contemplation. But you need to know how to practice your techniques, and you need to be aware of the order in which you're going to use your techniques. For example, the series that I go through when meditating is alternate nostril breathing, or just breath awareness, focusing on the breath, doing that for 5 to 10 minutes, allowing my attention to internalize. And once I've practiced that technique, I simply sit quietly, watching the breath, being still and alert. And in time, as distractions come back in, I use another technique. And the next technique I use is another breath awareness technique that we call Sushumna breathing. And with Sushumna breathing, you basically bring your awareness to your spine, from the base of your spine all the way up through the spine, through the neck, through the skull to the crown of the head, as though you are focusing on your core. And with your imagination, as you inhale, you feel as though a cool electrical current or flow of energy is ascending up through the spine slowly. You hold the breath at the top, just for an instant, and then you exhale, imagining that same life force energy flowing down warm and soothing, clear to the base of the spine. And that's one repetition. And you repeat the process, inhaling imagining the cool, ascending flow of electrical current up through the spine, holding the breath for an instant, exhaling, feeling as though that same current is now flowing down the spine, warm and soothing. And you want to do this 12 to 24 times. And on the very last time, you imagine you pull the current up and you bring that energy to the very crown of your head. You keep your attention at the crown, just feeling the crown of the head, being aware of it. Then you disregard the breath. Let the breath happen naturally. And you simply sit with the awareness of the crown at the top of the head, sitting for as long as you can in that peaceful state generated by the practice. And that may last for the duration of your practice, whether it's 20 or 30 minutes. And if it doesn't and you need another technique to center you, bring you back, the third technique I like to use is mantra. So if you have a Sanskrit mantra, that's easy. Just use that on the inhale. You imagine that you hear that mantra resonating within you. And a good Sanskrit mantra is Om Namah Shivaya. Or if you don't like Sanskrit mantras or you don't want to use one, you can simply use the two-word phrase Om Peace. And so you inhale, and as you inhale slowly, you imagine you feel that you hear the sound, the syllable Om, resonating within you. As you exhale, you feel and hear mentally the word peace resonating within you. And you do this easily and gently until you are again established in a thought-free, peaceful state. And then rest there in that state, letting go of the mantra. So meditating in this way allows you to learn to focus your attention, to let go of distractions. It allows you to experience the amount of peace that you are capable of at the time, and it keeps you on track for the duration of your practice. And you can do extended practices if you want. And again, all you would do is just repeat these techniques in whatever variation you like until you're done. And once you're done with the practice, you get up and you go about your day. It's as easy as that. Now, when I say we need to practice with alert attention, this is not a stressed out or tense state. This is just being alert. If you imagine a time when you were outside in nature and you happen to be watching the play of the sun off the water, or looking at the leaves in a tree, or just looking at a nice view, a nice vista, you are awake and you are alert and you are paying attention. Just there, you're just existing, being there, taking it in. This is the kind of alert state that I'm talking about. And if you find that when you meditate that you are nodding off, getting caught up in thoughts and memories, that's okay. It's just an indication that you need to practice with a little more intention and a little more often, maybe. Now, one thing that you can do to help keep yourself in a relaxed yet alert state, and usually it helps to wake you up if you are feeling a little tired, is bringing your attention to your forehead. Now, the yogis call this the third eye, or the spiritual eye. It's considered the master command center for our consciousness from the yogic perspective. From neurological perspectives, the frontal lobes of the brain helps us with concentration, helps us be optimistic, helps us with impulse control. And so the more that you bring your attention up to this point while you meditate, you'll find that it's easier for you to concentrate, resist distractions, and to go deeper into the process. And so no matter what technique you are using, whether it's the breath awareness technique, or the Sushumna breathing, pulling the current up and down the spine, or mantra, if you can just gently keep your awareness in the forehead area, just feeling the forehead area, this will help keep you on track and help you to go deeper into the process. And always remember, the way you practice is important. And we can think about this in regards to learning a musical instrument. If you really want to learn a musical instrument, and you've never played a musical instrument before, you're going to be pretty bad at it for a while. It's the same thing with meditation. You're going to try, you're going to get frustrated, and most people will just quit. But same thing with a musical instrument. If you persevere, and you can get past the squawking and the terrible noises and the distractions and frustration, you'll find that eventually you start to be able to play a really nice tune. And this is likened to the state of meditation where you start to experience a deep peacefulness. And then as the years go by, you become really proficient with your instrument, and you can make beautiful music. You can make beautiful music with others. Same thing with meditation. The more consistent you are with the practice, the better you get at it. And the quality of the practice is important because, again, just like the musical instrument, if you're trying to learn a scale or a technique and you're distracted by the TV or having a conversation with someone, you're not really paying attention to what you're doing, you're not going to make very good progress. And this is the reason why many meditators practice for years and years and years, and they look good sitting there for an hour, half an hour, with their eyes closed, but internally they're still distracted or thinking about things or not even awake. So it looks good on the outside, but they're not really practicing in a proficient way. And when you meditate, if you can really give your attention to it, really decide this is important, this is an important skill for you to develop, you'll find that you get better very quickly. And across the board, everyone has a different capacity, a different ability. Some people take to it like water, just like anything else. Sometimes our skill sets are such that we're able to easily begin a new project or begin a new endeavor, and it just works out. Other people have less abilities in certain areas, and so it takes more time, consistency, and work. But it doesn't matter where you are. This is an important thing to do. So sticking with it, you will eventually get better. You will eventually experience that deep state. And when it comes to techniques, you want to find maybe one or two techniques that you really like. And one is enough. But one or two techniques that you really like. And stick with them. The very techniques that I described to you earlier, these are techniques that I've used for the last 12 years. I've used hardly any other techniques. These are the only ones I have used for the most part. And I have used them every day, at least once or twice a day, every day, for the last 12 years. And the reason I do that is because that allows me to get really good at that practice, because the technique is not important. What's important is that state of calm, that state of abiding tranquility that comes after it. So if you master a technique that allows you to get in that space, that's all you need. To jump around from technique to technique, that again is a lot like picking up multiple instruments. Now, it's true that some instruments easily work together. For example, going from guitar to mandolin, that's a little bit easier of a transition because it's a fretted instrument, it's a plucked instrument, and so it's easier to do. Now going from a mandolin to a violin is a big change because now we have a bow involved, or going from a violin to a saxophone, totally different skill sets. So you want to stick with one set of techniques and make them work for you. Otherwise, you're going to be mediocre at a bunch of techniques, and you'll never really get to the core of the practice, which isn't the technique at all, but it's simply being able to abide in that self-aware, peaceful state, because that state is the foundation for the greater practice. And the greater practice is developing self-awareness, being able to know what you are at the core, the essence of your being, so that you can see the world for what it is, so that you can feel your connection to the wholeness of life. And if you're so inclined, you can contemplate your relationship to the divine, the infinite. Whatever you'd like to know, you can know through this practice. But you have to be able to abide in that state of peaceful self-awareness first. So the techniques are important, but they're not the end-all, be-all. They are the foundation for the higher practices. And in the Yoga Sutras, we have 8 limbs. Yama, Niyama, which are the behaviors we are supposed to perform and the things we're supposed to stay away from. Asana, which is our Hatha Yoga practice, or our physical routine, which helps keep our body nice and strong and healthy and fit. Pranayama, breath awareness, which helps us to release energetic blockages within the body, and also strengthen and pacify our mind and our emotions and our thoughts, so those no longer get in the way of our higher consciousness. Pratyahara is internalizing our attention, learning to let go of distractions, keep our awareness focused within so that we can experience deep contemplation. It's withdrawing our senses. And then after that, we've got the next 3 stages, which are concentration, the ability to concentrate, meditation, which is keeping our awareness focused on a point until we are unified with it, and from that comes samadhi, which is the direct experience of that which we are contemplating. So all these line up together, but we have to have the foundation right first. And to review, basically, you need to have a meditation practice that's consistent. You need to have a place where you can meditate, where it's calm and quiet. Usually early in the morning is good, before other people wake up. In the beginning, a 20 to 30 minute practice is great. Having techniques that you like to use, that you are interested in, that you give your full attention to. Relaxing into the process, but learning to stay awake and alert through the process. And again, if you need more sleep, get more sleep. Take naps. Most people are sleep deprived. But if you find that you just naturally nod off when you go to sleep, but if you find that you naturally nod off when you're starting to meditate, and you've gotten plenty of sleep, you don't need any more rest, that may be an indication that you just need to try a little harder with a little more effort to stay awake. Because it is common that when the body starts to relax, the natural response is go to sleep. And what we're endeavoring to do is to train the body to be relaxed yet awake. So there can be a little time lag there in that regard. But again, practice helps, and keeping your attention at the spiritual eye center helps. And then as the years go by and you get more calm and clear, and your foundation is solid, you'll find that your body naturally gets healthier. Your mind is calmer in most situations. Things work out for the better most of the time. And that you have a greater appreciation for life and a greater understanding for the world around you. And even a greater knowledge of yourself and what you are in relation to the world, the divine, the infinite. All this comes naturally from the practice. Now, how to practice. It's good to have a pattern or a ritual or a specific set of techniques that you follow. When you begin, sitting up straight, take a nice, easy, deep breath. Exhale, relax the body. Turn your attention within. If you are practicing for spiritual growth, for greater awareness, this is a good time to think about, attune to any teachers in your spiritual tradition, your concept of the divine, God, the infinite. Just by thinking of these teachers or by thinking of the divine consciousness, you are attuning to it. You are attuning to them. And so you're supported in the practice just by thinking about it. And you can do that for a minute or two. And after you've done that, then you simply want to begin your first technique, whatever it may be. It's a mantra. Begin the mantra practice. Continue for as long as you need to until you experience a fairly thought-free state, calm and peacefulness. Remembering that in the beginning it might not get completely thought-free or completely calm. But you do your best and get as far as you can. And once you feel comfortable, just rest there, being at peace. And then once distractions come back in again that are more overwhelming, then you would take up your technique again or start a new technique. And you do this for the duration of your practice. If it's 20, 30 minutes, you've got a timer. You continue until that timer goes off. And then you get up and go about your day. One thing that's really helpful to do at the end of your practice, say the timer's gone off, but you're still comfortable and you want to sit for a minute or two more, 5 minutes. What you do is you can bring your awareness to your heart center or to your spiritual eye. And remember a time when you felt really at peace, really loved, and really supported, just happy. Everything was okay in the world. You want to bring up that feeling within you. Remember it. Let it grow with each breath. And then spend that next 5 minutes radiating this compassionate goodwill, this feeling of fulfillment to the space around you, to the world around you, to the people in your life, to everyone that you know, whether you like them or you don't like them, whether you know them well or not. Just radiating this sense of compassionate goodwill throughout the world, throughout consciousness. This has been found to really quickly bring a person into a clear superconscious state. And it also connects you to the wholeness of life, and by radiating this sense of peace and compassion, you in a sense fill your life circumstance with that possibility. And we have to remember that what we experience around us is the result of what is within us. And the more we do this, the more we generate this state of fulfillment, the more we find fulfilling situations around us. Now, this might not happen immediately because we may have a lot of subconscious different opinions or different ideas about what the world is supposed to be like, which might be contrary to harmony or fulfillment. But again, the more we practice, the less that becomes, and the more we fill ourselves up with this sense of peace and fulfillment, and the more that's reflected back to us. So in this way, we take our meditation practice out into the world, and we help to benefit the consciousness of the world, which makes the world a better place for everyone involved. So this is a really good system of meditation to follow. And if you stick with it, you can find that in time, you can be a more peaceful, a more fulfilled, a more self-aware individual.